And then we have these people eking out half a percentage point better to win on that, like that highest level.
Right. And again, I think that's where application of scientific principles has come into a lot of these fields in terms of how do we improve the physical ability of a certain individual.
The rule set of Jiu-Jitsu over this 30-year time period has evolved it in a general sense as a sport.
It's funny because when I talk to my sensei, he talks about the origins of his line back in Brazil. And really effectively, they had houses where there were no rules. And basically you got together and, you grappled hard until somebody lost. So there were no rules back there. And then, of course, you transition that here into the States and with IBJJF, and now you start to apply these rules to the sport. And I get that it changes the dynamic of how you might practice that sport. However, when I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I'm always trying to think of it from a realistic self-defense standpoint. How would I apply this in the very unlikely event that there's an altercation, a physical altercation in real life? How am I going to apply this technique? And I remember I went to a Kempo karate place, and we were doing some stuff. I was doing some Kempo, teaching them some jiu-jitsu, and I remember one of the senseis there went, well, there's basically only, like 3 moves in jiu-jitsu? Arm bar, triangle, and Kimura. And I went, well, Daniel-san, you have a lot to learn.
Well, and then there's the thing about having a lot of depth in one rule set.
Right.
Same deal.
Right. Yeah, 100%. So I'm not sure that I've answered your particular question. However, I do see how the rule set alters the game set of practicing BJJ.
Yeah, I think that overall it's funny. It's funny to see that application of changing the rule set in jiu-jitsu can expand out into more sports as well, where you talk about people approaching it scientifically, where not only the evolution of a sport due to rule sets, but the artificial evolution of a rule set due to the approach to optimizing your performance within the rule set.
Right.
So in basketball, they used to think that the ideal player was the average textbook man. And now they actually legitimately, when I read the textbooks, they have specific arm length ratios to body torso sizes for different positions on the court. So it's literally an evolutionary process and something that people are trying to really force training to optimize.
Right.
So, someone like you, and this is where, I always am trying to get you to work out just a little bit more, a little bit different, a little bit that, and, you do pull-ups now, evens it out a little bit from the push-ups. And even just that is 100% difference in a better direction. And then we have these people eking out half a percentage point better to win on that, that highest level.
Right. And again, I think that's where application of scientific principles has come into a lot of these fields in terms of how do we improve the physical ability of a certain individual. And back in the day, we had none of that. Even what you do, I watch how you have spreadsheets and numbers. And man, if I had that back in high school wrestling, I think I would have eaten that up, and I would have definitely improved my overall game.
Well, and I think that